What's up, guys? How are you? Dave Van Auken, the Dave Van Auken Show. And coming on, someone who's been on the show before, big fan of hers, 1-0 professional, had some really cool news in the making in the last week or two. So I'm so happy to get her back on the show. Actually saw her at American Top Team just last week. Very happy to introduce back on the show our dear friend, the Wild One, Michelle Montague. How are you?
I am tip top, mate. How are you doing?
Doing good, my friend. Life's good. Life's good.
It's good, isn't it?
It is. It is. Before we get all these great questions, and I'm gonna get some fire questions. I'm gonna ask them hard ones coming up. You know, PFL and iKON and UFC Fight Pass and Kayla, all that. Before all that, I want to talk to you about your social media funniness, your comedy timing. When I met you, where was that? I was in not Arlington, in Atlanta. Just cracking up the whole time. Where do you get this comedian aspect of you?
Honestly, they have that saying, like, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and my dad, he's a pretty funny bloke, and he always has been. And again, it's the eye of the beholder. Like, some people I probably rub completely the wrong way, but no, I just like to, there's times to be serious, there's times to be empathetic and all that, and and then there seems to be quite a lot of times where, like, there's banter or jokes or whatever, just like ready to go. So no, I like that. I like making people laugh, and I find that, I think that's really important, especially in a sport like so serious like ours, and there's so much on the line. If you go in day out fucking like this every time, like, dude,
right,
you're gonna fizzle out because you need some light in your life. So yeah, I'd like being able to bring that. And you're easy to take the piss out of. So, like,
that's where I was going with it. It's your profession, right? It's not like a banker or a school teacher or someone that works at Home Depot. They get up and they kind of do a norm, and it's a back and forth. Your profession is one of the hardest on this planet. It's very hard on your body. It's very hard on your mind, especially when you don't have a date. I hear that more than anything as a fighter. When you have that date, like, you have something to look forward to and something to strive for. Sometimes going to American Top Team on a Monday or Tuesday, you don't have anything booked. It's like, I hear, it's like, what am I doing? It's like, I'm just a mouse on a wheel. So I would assume bringing that little bit of just smiles and laughter, even just to yourself, even to make your own damn self laugh, I think is super important.
I make myself laugh all the time. I think I'm hilarious for me. That's what I say. Like, a lot of people will be like, "Eesh, like, that's not my cup of tea."
Got you. All right, well, let's get into it. Like I said, super fun, big words here. October 14th, live on UFC Fight Pass. iKON FC, Jorge Masvidal's iKON FC. I would love for you how to come to be, because I think of you as a PFL fighter on the Challenger Series in Orlando just this past year. Talked to you, like I said, in Atlanta, and you were maybe trying to get something in the works too with PFL, just I guess didn't come through. How did this come to be? Give us the tea, spill the tea.
Well, what had happened was, when I was in Atlanta, I spoke with, Greg up there and and basically we thought we'd maybe try and get on the Wales or London card, but they've got people that have been planned on those cards for months and months and months. So to quickly chuck mine in there, one of the harder weight groups, to match up wasn't going to be possible. So basically I said, what if I did one fight somewhere else? He said, I mentioned that Jorge had offered to get me a fight if I needed one. So, but I at that point had mine sorted until the girl pulled out. So they brought it up with the PFL guys, and they said, yeah, absolutely. If you want to do one with his, they know him really well, when they trust all that there. So they said, that's fine, go and do that one with them, so you can keep moving, and then it only prepares me better for whatever happens next year with the PFL. So so that's how that happened. And then I said to Jorge, I said, yep, they said all good. So then he teed it up really fast.
Yeah. Isn't that just amazing that two big brands or companies can work together, and just everyone is successful and wins?
Also, they have the right thing in mind. Yes, of course, fighting's a money game, but in my personal position, I needed to be, improving, moving forward, and you do that in training all the time, but then to have to have a fight to really like, put that into action is what, it's ideal. So for them to both be able to not be there having like a who's dick's bigger like contest, they just were like, oh, the fighter needs a fight. We care about getting her there, and they made it happen. Like for me, I'm like tick tick.
Love it. Also, of course, a very big thing that I saw on the fight poster, and you and I kind of talked off air a little bit about it, was it's not a lightweight fight; it's a featherweight fight.
Yes, honey.
Is this kind of, do you foresee this an ongoing thing? Because right now PFL has lightweights and not featherweights, but other organizations, big organizations have featherweights but not lightweights. What's the can you think you can do both and go back and forth?
So interestingly, when I was talking to Greg in Atlanta, and we were trying to get this like quick fight sorted over in Europe, and I said, which like doesn't even matter if it's at featherweight. And he's like, oh yeah, it'll be at featherweight because there'll be no matches anywhere at lightweight. Like they have all the lightweights in the world, or they don't want them. So he's like, it will be at featherweight, and I was like, sweet. So he was going to get me just like an exhibition fight at that weight anyway. Anyway, obviously that didn't happen, so he knows I can make that, and that's all good. I think I've had 6 fights out of my 15 have been at featherweight.
Okay.
Maybe even like more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 of my 14 fights have been at featherweight. So it's no drama making it. It's just like you go where the best opportunity is, and that is at 155, which is a nice little chunky weight for me. So no, we're good. We're going down there now, and and it'll be all good. Like I said, like I've got the fight dietitian like on my side. I've got my plan literally sitting here. So like from the last one with the exact same drop. So it's not a stress, and it's not a bother whether I have exhibition fights at that next year for PFL, so they can get me fights, or whether they want me at lightweight. Like I'm literally not even phased.
Okay, that's beautiful. Because back to you said the apple doesn't fall from the tree. Same here. I was always told you never want to put all your eggs in one basket. You might want to do a couple things. So you could show the PFL, hey, I can make lightweight and featherweight, like you said itself, or even not trying to. How much I love the PFL.
Hey, guy, I can make bantamweight. I've never done it, but I'm damn sure I could with the day before weighing.
Whoa, Michelle talking bantamweight now.
I just don't need to. Like,
right.
Am I going to walk around like starving for like no more money, no more competition?
Right.
Like there are heaps of girls at 145. There are heaps. We have a good amount of girls at 155. It's just you got to be on the in the right organization or whatever,
Right. And there's a pretty decent 155er out there. We'll talk about her later, maybe.
You know what? I think she's all right.
Yeah, she's all right. Another thing I actually love and really admire about you as well is, I think it was around 2-3 months ago, you had a back-to-back thing. You had you love to grapple and wrestle and to go tournaments. You were actually in Orlando, Florida for submission underground or submission grappling. I love that about you too. Is that just very important for you, just to keep active and stay busy and just to compete? How important is that to you?
So it's important to me in a way that like I'm not like lost without it, but it's like I think it's so important in terms of growth. And I think people, especially when kids are new to the sport, like you just have to compete, and whether it's jiu-jitsu or wrestling or like a padded fight or whatever it is, like in that stage when you're like soaking all this info in, like how to like apply it practically is so important. And then instead of going to your first actual fight and just spazzing out. So I've always done that. I've always done like a lot of competitions. I would play like a rugby game for 80 minutes in the morning, drive 2 hours up north, do the grappling gi nationals or whatever, like the same day, drive 2 hours home. Like I'm no stranger to that, and it doesn't make me like shudder at all. Like I'm like, oh yeah, like it gives me like, I'm like, yeah. So with this year, I wanted to do because I didn't have anything coming up, I wanted to do the Jiu-Jitsu World Champs in the gi. So I put the gi on for, a week and then went out there and actually did really well and was happy with that.
I was going to say, how did you do in that? How did you do?
I lost my belt division by a ref just choosing like who they wanted to give the win to on an advantage. The girl played guard and I was on top, but yeah, so I'm all good, whatever. she was attacking more submissions in that, but she didn't get it. So they gave it to her in the final, and I'd finished every girl before that. And then
I heard you did really well out there.
Yeah, well, then in the Open, I had her for the first match, and I finished her in like a minute. So I was like, say no more. And then in the final of the Open, so then I made it to the final of the Open, and then in that there, it was a good scrappy, scrambly match. And this Brazilian girl, she got 2 points, I think, for it was either north, south, or something in there. She got her points off that, and like I couldn't get them back. So I was like, yep. So I lost that one 2-0. And like, yeah, she worked well for that there. So yeah, I had no regrets about the whole thing, and it was like my first time doing the IBJF tournament, and then to come out with 2 seconds, I'm like, okay, I'd rather have won, obviously, especially seeing I could have beat that girl. But like, I'm like, I banked a lot from that. And then that night I went to fly out from California back to Orlando, and then my flight was cancelled because what was that for? It was cancelled from like storms and whatever the fuck, I don't know, America. And so they put us in a hotel, and then I basically I think I slept an hour and a half, and then got on the next flight out, cancelled the one they were going to give me, bought a new flight that left early enough to arrive in Orlando at the right time. It went to Portland, Oregon from California, and then to Orlando. So it was a good little ticky tour around, I'll tell you that. Good bang for your buck in terms of travel miles. And and then got over there, took an Uber to the venue, and I think I had about 30 or 40, maybe 45 minutes, and then I was up. And so I did a little warm up by myself up on the mat upstairs, and then I was like, I think it feels good. And I had the match with the girl, and she was strong, dude. Like she was a strong girl.
Yeah, yeah.
In a completely fair way, but just felt heavy, that heavy like body type, you know. And I remember at the start, and I've been like soft mats all week at jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean? And like she kind of like charged in, and then
it's a cage. It's like a legit cage.
And I went to I was like, oh, okay, I'll like fish down to the neck, and then she just drops down to my knees and just goes boom and double leg me on the ground, and my whole back, because it was like straight wood and like the thinnest little it was like just wooden canvas, and I remember my back going like, oh honey, you're not warm for that. And I was like, okay, like I'm still, nothing's paralyzed, okay, moving things here, like. And then ended up, I got the armbar in the overtime, but and then the next morning I got the bus back down to down South Florida and got my car. So it was a journey, like that whole 4-day period.
Right.
But like the whole thing was just like, you know, full of growth and mental and physical, and perfect amount of challenges. You know what I mean? So hopefully when I go down to I'd like to do the Nogi Worlds later in the year and come back with a better result. I mean, that's more my jam, you know.
Yeah, just playing something super important, really close, so you have to make an overnight flight. That's all. Just
I can't explain it. The panic of the things being close together. Like I thrive in chaos. Like I thrive in chaos.
That's good.
Yeah, it's not good though, because I push for it, you know.
Well, maybe I think in your profession, I think that's a good quality to have, if I could say. Maybe
I guess so, yeah. Like I signed this contract 2 days ago, and it's in 4 weeks' time. So I'm like, you know what? Hey, lose whatever weight we're gonna lose.
Yeah, 6 pounds, 7 pounds, something. Yeah.
No, honey, that many kilos.
Oh, kilos.
Yeah.
What's the pounds to kilos ratio? What is that?
Well, sometimes I get muddled up between the kilometers to miles ratio and the pounds thing. I think it's like 2. No, see, look, I'm gonna fuck it up.
No, I think you're on it actually. I think you are. There you go. iPhone. Google it.
Yeah, because if I go 7 kg to pounds, that's it's like double. 2.2. Okay. It is 2.2. Yeah, you multiply 2.2 to get pounds.
Okay. Okay. All right, we'll bring up that name, Kayla Harrison, fighting for the 155-pound championship once again for PFL in November. But more than that, like I don't want to talk to you about the details of the fight or the fight camp, anything of that nature. I just seen you through social media and even seeing you in Atlanta. It just seems that you guys have a very unique, very important, great relationship, great friends, mentor, train partner, all of that nature. How important is that to have someone like Kayla Harrison, who's so successful in what she does for a living, to kind of, not mentor, but friend or, big brother kind of a thing, of situation? How important is that?
Yeah, interesting. So again, it's not one of those things that you like seek out, but
Sure,
when it fits, it fits. And I remember that first training when we did something real weird at the same time, and we looked at each other like, "Oh, this is gonna work."
Right.
And every time since then. So it's good. You've got everything there in terms of like we can push each other physically and mentally in the training. There's clearly she's gonna be outskilling me in certain areas, and it's going to be hard to push it to the point of, hey, you're nearly getting big here, because that's like her fucking bread and butter, so it's like a balancing act of like give, take, push, pull, like and moments, personal moments where we both like don't need to lean on each other at all, but because we're super strong alpha individuals, but like where we can turn to each other for like, to vent something, or if I'm having a fucking hard training and like she's with someone else, like she can turn over and be like, Michelle, or I can do the same thing, or whatever it is. We just get, we just get it. So I think I feel very lucky to find someone like that in a brand new gym, basically straight off the bat, that is, a perfect, like a great role model, a great, big sister, and like another like chaotic wild one, and then in any ways that I can help, like I can see where like I can be like a helpful friend or whatever. Then like it's obviously rewarding in itself to give back in any way that I physically can. Which in her successful state there's not many situations. But if I can cook a mean stir fry or something like that then we'll do it.
There we go. I heard talking about wild, when I heard a night in Atlanta was a little wild after PFL.
It was so cool, dude. It was awesome. We had all the like team and coaches and like Mocko and stuff. Like it was just it was just beautiful. We had this cool group photo in front of like some Olympic rings, because obviously like Kayla that there. No, it was very cool when we had like she'd sorted the house so that the whole team was all together. So we came back, after having some beers and stuff, and then we came back and just like it was just like apparently it looked like raccoons had gone in the kitchen. Like we were just imagine like big girls and like big mockos and stuff, and like the whatever like kids and shit, and like there's just food everywhere. Like
I get it. Oh, one more question, then I asked the little fans to ask questions. We got 3 kind of fun, good ones, so we'll take it from there. But one last thing for me. I was there last week, American Top Team, and I remember going years and years ago, and it was the gym to me has changed so much, and not in a better way or worse way or good way, just a more professional way. When I was there, they had kids classes years ago, It was just very open. They just had people watching. They had even people just kind of working out off the street, if that makes sense. Just, it was more of a gym. Now it's like, hey, if it's a very high level professional, you have to be fighting for a high level organization. It's very tight, it seems like. But at least for me, and I was there for 2-3 hours at the most, the gym seemed like a lot of hard work was going, but a lot of positive and smiles and laughter, but a lot of hard ass work. How is the gym right now, and the camaraderie and just the feel, the vibes of American Top Team?
Yeah, you're right. And even on days where it's emptier, for whatever reason, like towards the end of the week, and people are like, needing a bit of a rest, even on the days where it's empty, it still has that same positivity as the days where it's packed in there. And even if someone were to say, have a bit of a stern message to put across at the end of training, it's still received with like very open ears and open hearts, because we're all after the same thing, and everyone's there to push each other and lift one another up. You can't be in there with a fucking big ego and think you're better than people, on a day-to-day, because honey, like there's a lot of people in there that will shut you up. So it's a very positive environment, and obviously the coaches go out of their way to share their time and knowledge and pick areas that you need improvement and suggest and push you towards certain trainings with certain coaches. And for me, obviously being a foreigner there too, and there's actually a decent amount of foreigners, and I know that no one is ever like feeling awkward or left out or like an outsider. So
sure.
Between the hard work and the camaraderie between everybody, it's a very, very good place to be.
It's amazing. There's the fight game is so tough, and winning is so tough. And we were down there doing some photo shoots with Grant and Tiago and Elle.
Oh, yeah.
And Elle's 5-0 and undefeated, and Grant for the UFC is 6-0-1, and Tiago's on a run. And then we see pictures of, a lot of sometimes guy pictures or like the girl pictures, like, oh wow, Kayla hasn't lost in 4 years, and Michelle's undefeated, like Dakota's record. It's like, man, that gym, like you guys don't know how to lose. Like, like Elle's down there.
Every single person you just named, like even you named 4 girls, but all basically different sizes. And we will all like little things each person will do, like on the mat, will be like, oh fuck, like she's a beast. Like no matter how small they are, and they're like, dude, they bring it.
That is very true. All right, 3 fun fan questions. We put it out there, and we'll see where it goes. Easy ones. I think they're very easy ones. First one is, what is your main goal as a fighter?
Okay, there's 2. Obviously, my main goal is to win, because that needs to be. But my big, like, holistic goal is to have a huge impact. Have a huge impact in promoting MMA for women and coaching, like in the future. That's what I want. So to be at a point where I have like so much skill and knowledge to then pass on, and and a history to show for it as well. Sure. That I can like encourage and motivate, and like even more so like coach women and young girls in the sport, and like have a real solid place for them to turn to.
Not to totally put you on the spot, because to me you're so young in the sport, you have such a bright, huge future just as the fighter type. Would you, if 20 years from now, I'd be like, hey Michelle, you have your own gym and your own place and your own people, and you have a beautiful, factory of just, giving your knowledge there, or almost like a Mako type in American Top Team and a part of that huge wheel and keep on helping some of the best pros on this planet, which way would you rather lean? I
honestly would rather go the latter of the 2, because it's really good. It's good for them to have their group, their place at the start, but it's also really good for them to be around men in the sport. To actually be able to be around it. Kids of all ages, sometimes you'll see 2 guys training, and if you're newer girls and they chat a bit, like it's really good to see that example. It's good to see sometimes like the strengths they can hold, and obviously they move differently to us, so they can sometimes explain or show something differently. So I think keeping like that joined is really good. And then I thrive off learning off other coaches. So if I was coaching and I was around a different class earlier on, and I could pick someone's brain, like I would always want that resource to be there. So, and I'd love to add value to something else. I don't feel like I'd have to have it be my own. What I would rather is bringing something there that helps bring others in and helps lift them.
There you go. Love it. Great answer. Easy one. What's your favorite fruit?
My favorite what?
Fruit.
Oh, I do love a good kiwi fruit. I am biased, but I do love a good.
Okay. Yeah. Last one.
I will say my favorite is an apricot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Not a very.
Hear me out though. Listen. So they're not messy. You literally you can just pull it apart and then just put the stone away, and you just eat it. Boom, boom, done. It's so efficient.
Wait, you said stone, isn't it a pit?
Okay, tomato guy. Hey, sue me, I'm Kiwi. Talking English over
Oh
here.
my gosh, the wild one right here. So good, so good. Maybe this is from one of our new sponsors. They asked, do you like to bet on fights, other fights, of course, not yourself?
I like to bet like with my brain, but I don't see value in betting with money. I'm like, win or lose, like it's a couple of bucks here and there, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, but I enjoy, like, with buddies from watching, being like, who do you think is going to win and why, and like talking about that there. But like, I haven't got to the point where I'm like, want to like put money and wage on it. You know what I mean? Right. Maybe a round or something, or the dinner or something like that there. But
yeah. Okay. All right. There we go. Those were the fan questions. Man, Michelle, taking over UFC Fight Pass on October 14th on a Friday. Jorge Masvidal's iKON FC 5 versus Danielle Wynn, a very game fighter. She's fought some very, very big names. She's fought in different multiple organizations, boxing. She's done bare knuckle MMA. She's done MMA. I know you probably YouTubed her maybe once or twice, but Danielle Wynn versus
zero
Michelle.
times so far.
Zero times. Well, there you go. There you go.
I got coaches, I got coaches.
Yeah, you got coaches. Awesome. Continued success to you. Huge fan of you. You know that. You, not even as the fighter, as the person. And I can't wait. We'll be in Savannah. I think we're a month away, something like that. I'll be out there in Savannah. I can't wait.
Good.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I'll be out there.
You know what? Good for us.
Good for us. Good for us. The first drink's on me. I'll handle the first one.
So
awesome. Any last words? Any kind of sponsors? Any kind of things you want to? Any jokes you have off the top of your head? Anything? Any nuggets you want to let go?
Any nuggets? Oh no, this will be you on like the fighter's door, like trying to get knock.
Who's there?
Let us.
Let us who?
Let us in.
All right, guys. Michelle Montague, she fights as a featherweight. UFC Fight Pass, October 14th. Jorge Masvidal's iKON FC. Michelle, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. I'll see you later.
See you later, friend.